Good day everyone, this is Junaid Khan. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and welcome to my channel. I have so many points in front of me right now, specifically regards to the immigration changes, the policy changes about Canada. And at this point of time, it's pretty hard for me that from where should I start, because it's been a roller coaster of emotions, and some people are really happy about these changes, and on the other hand there are many people who aren't very happy because of these changes. I will give you my perception. I will give you some of the information which is going to be through the policies, and we will definitely talk about how we can overcome these and what is going to be next in Canada in regards to immigration policy. So if we talk about first thing, what happened on Monday, Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Trudeau announced on Monday that on the population growth, and the government has been critically criticized in regards to the population growth in Canada. So if we talk about the facts, 97% population growth in the last year was because of the immigration. So 90% is a very, very huge number. That means the organic growth in Canada of population has been only 3%, and 97% immigrants entered Canada in last year, which I feel like definitely it's pretty huge. So what's the impact of this immigration growth in Canada? The major impact happened on two sectors, most importantly, which one is healthcare and the second is the housing. In my opinion, and when I was going through all these news and the debates over there in the cabinet as well, that if there was a plan to have a rapid and huge increase in population growth in Canada, and specifically by immigration, that means that was a controlled growth, that who are you letting in, and how many people are you trying to get in, and how immigration are working in these categories, then work should have been done parallel to the healthcare sector and the housing sector as well. Well, if we talk about this point, then that's a pretty valid point, that when the numbers, when how many people are getting into Canada in temporary foreign workers or in multiple temporary and permanent streams, then that shouldn't be a problem at the end of the day, that we have very few houses to live. The housing crisis is there, and specifically and most importantly the healthcare sector, because definitely if there's a rapid growth in population, the healthcare should have been done, or the precautionary measures should have been taken at that point to increase the healthcare sector, hospitals, clinic, and doctors and healthcare people in Canada as well. Now the government has been criticized on it, which in my opinion kind of okay and true, that that the measures should have been taken. Now we need to talk about specifically the temporary foreign workers, because as the Honorable Minister of Immigration Mark Miller announced on August 28th, that people who have visitor visas in hand and they're currently in Canada, they cannot really switch now their visit visa into the work permit. And the first initially in this week on August 28th, they announced that, and then there are going to be a critical cap on a work permit, the temporary foreign workers, which is going to be implemented very soon in September, which I believe in 28th September. So what's going to happen now, and why are these steps have been taken care of now, and what is going on in regards to the temporary foreign workers, and specifically the low wage LMIAs and the low wage temporary foreign workers, which have been hired by employers in Canada. So if we talk about numbers, 183,820, so let's say 183,000 temporary foreign workers entered in 2023. It's a huge number. We are talking near to 200,000 temporary foreign workers. And what was the impact on it? First impact, if we talk about, well, I mentioned earlier in the video that the first impact was on a housing as well as the healthcare, which is probably, we can say is like an overall impact. But on the other side, it's getting really hard for Canadians to get the jobs in Canada, because when we are hiring or employers are hiring temporary foreign workers for the low wage, what does that mean is it's going to be crucial for a Canadian resident or people who have already in Canada. Let's just not talk about the residents only or a citizen only. Let's talk about the students who are in Canada and they are eligible for work for a couple of hours in a week, and they are eligible for work during their break time in the school. They can work as many hours they want. But I've been hearing this news from last whole year and even before that, that it is very crucial for the students to getting a jobs, even though when they're allowed to work full time, or even though when they're finding a part-time jobs. Because I mean, if now it makes sense to me, because if we are entering 183,000, approximately 200,000 temporary foreign workers for the low wage jobs, then how students are going to get the jobs, or how the work permit holders, the postgraduate work permit holders are going to get the jobs, even though we have to take that in consideration as well, that these are the people, you know, who spend a lot of money on their education, paying taxes, paying hefty fees for their colleges and universities, and there are no jobs available at the end of the day for them. So kind of like unfair to the Canadians too, because when the temporary foreign workers are filling up the jobs rapidly, then it'll be very difficult for the Canadians and the people who are in Canada on different permits to get the jobs over there. Now we need to talk about the ESDC as well. The ESDC has mentioned that, you know, it was a growth of 88% if we compare that from 2019. Now, you know, we are talking about 88%, which is near to 100. When we talk about the growth, it was 97%. When we are talking about the ESDC data, you know, that how many workers have entered Canada as compared to 2019, the growth was 88%. I mean, we are talking very high numbers, and there, I mean, it can be that there is no impact on the job market as well. So when we talk about the temporary foreign workers, we have to talk about the employers as well, because now this is one category where employers are involved, and they are the one who basically show the shortage of a specific job within Canada. And this is how it works, because if an employer is hiring a temporary foreign worker, they have to show that, you know, they are not finding the particular person, they're not filling up the Canadian market. The people who are already in Canada are not filling up the jobs, and for that reason they have to hire people from outside Canada. So if we are talking about that, now there is going to be a little cap on the percentage of the employers who can actually call the temporary foreign workers in Canada, and I think it's reducing from 20% to 10%. So basically a 50% drop on the temporary foreign the employers who can actually hire the foreign workers for the low wage jobs. However, if we talk about few sectors which are going to be exempted, that will be healthcare sector, which is highly in demand from last couple of months, or I would say the whole year, and it is going to be a very highly in demand as well. Other than the healthcare sector, we can also add a construction sector as well, because like I said, if there's an immigration growth of 97% in population in Canada, we definitely have to build the new societies, we definitely have to construct on a new land to make new properties, housing and plazas and markets as well, to accommodate all this population growth. And this is not the growth where the organic growth we're talking about. We're talking about the people who entered Canada as a families, as a workers and students, and on a visitor visa. We're talking about grown-up people. So healthcare sector, construction sector, and there are a couple of other sectors which are going to be exempt with all these caps. Now, when I'm talking about the cap, I am very surprised that Canada has been putting these kind of caps. I would say first time in the history. It has never happened before that there has been huge caps on immigration, and it happened in 2024. The video is going to get very long, but I still want to talk about that. You know, there are multiple PNP streams which are getting closer to expire, or which are basically the multiple PNPs which are closed at the moment. Like I was reading, the New Brunswick has recently closed their stream as well, because the quota of this year has already met. So there are multiple streams which are going to close soon, and immigration is working on it. But we need to focus on a few things, even being in this industry, that, you know, we need to focus on people who are actually in demand over there. The healthcare, I've been trying to tell people around me and in my circle that, you know, healthcare sector is still very much in demand, and the construction worker, like as I said, the engineers, the IT field, the software field is going to be still in demand within this era. One more important point before I wrap it up is that the low wage LMIA is going to be restricted completely for those areas in Canada where the unemployment rate is more than 6%. Now, when we're talking about the unemployment rate and we're talking about the 6% is already too high. So the people cannot, the employers cannot hire a low wage foreign workers in those areas where the unemployment rate is more than 6%. That means there are a couple of areas which are going to be in this sector where the employers are not going to be eligible to hire people from outside Canada. Instead, I mean, it makes sense to me. If the unemployment rate of the area of the city is already 6%, that this is very unlikely that you won't find anyone to fill up the gap, or you won't find anyone to fill up the job which is created in a market. So this is going to be a huge a cap on temporary foreign workers as well. Well, sort of done with the few points, but this is not going to be done. Like I said in the beginning of the video, that it has been a roller coaster of information and changes. But you know, some people find it very good and some people find it like they're not very happy about it. But this is what it is at the end of the day. These are the policies, and I feel like there are a lot of policies and information is going to be in upcoming days as well. Like last few days was been a very crucial in regards to the information, and I feel like the upcoming few days are going to be very hectic as well. Yeah, it is very hard for the people who are in the process and starting their processes for Canada. They have to be very careful. They need to know what's going on. They have to keep themselves updated on the information, on the policies, specifically for immigration. You know, visitor visas, study permits, or most importantly, an immigration plan. So good luck to everyone who are already in the process, and I wish you the best of luck if you want to start something. And update yourself, or you can follow our channels as well to get the upcoming updates as well. Thank you very much for your time.